If you had to pay a fee to drive right now, would you still drive or would you take the bus?
That's a good question.
That's effectively the choice behind the hot new tool for improving our streets, congestion pricing. It's basically putting a price on traffic, that is, when and where drivers can create traffic. Here's how it works. You charge cars extra for driving on busy central streets at peak hours. That's supposed to make drivers think, gee, do I really need to make this car trip at this time? Mayor Jenny Durkin of Seattle, Grist's hometown, hopes to implement congestion pricing on some downtown streets by the end of her term in 2021. Why would a city ever need congestion pricing? Well, people generally believe that cars are the most convenient way to get around town. They're often wrong, especially at rush hour. Traffic is a major contributor to particulate pollution in American cities. The emissions have been linked to heart problems, lung problems, and even early death. And it's often communities of color living near crowded roadways who are most impacted. University of British Columbia professor Alex Bigazzi found that congestion pricing was one of the two most effective strategies for reducing air pollution. Congestion pricing seems pretty radical, but it's actually got historical bipartisan appeal. It's been mentioned in the infrastructure plans of all three most recent presidents. Yes, including the current one. But very few politicians actually want to touch it. People love driving, and drivers vote. This year, however, two pretty high-profile politicians have already expressed support for congestion pricing. The scheme has been implemented in London, Singapore, and Stockholm. But it doesn't work, at least not in an equitable way, without excellent public transportation.
A robust public transit system is not just a complement, it's a prerequisite for effective congestion pricing. All the effective programs are coupled with good, competitive public transit systems, good walking and biking infrastructure, and typically good urban land management strategy.
Public transit systems, especially in American cities, need to be way better. At least if cities want to meaningfully reduce their carbon emissions.
And if people want to be on time.
All money from congestion pricing is often directed to expand transit infrastructure, but there are other ways to use that money. Driving already costs a lot, and most people on the road are often middle or upper income.
Free roads are probably better described as a subsidy to high-income people that some low-income people sometimes enjoy when they happen to be driving.
But in fast-growing cities like Seattle, low-income people become dependent on cars because they've been priced out of dense urban areas to far-removed suburbs with limited transit service. Manville has an idea to tackle that issue. Take the money from congestion pricing and use it to subsidize tolls or transit fares for low-income commuters. That way, they can choose how to get around. So how likely is congestion pricing to happen in Seattle or New York? Well, New York just kicked its latest congestion pricing initiative further down the road. And the Seattle Department of Transportation says they're taking it slow. They want to be cautious about how the scheme will go over with constituents. But the way our streets are built right now is really not working for our health, environment, and punctuality.